And welcome back, everybody. Happy Friday. Thank you so much for joining us. Today we are live with the one and only Tony Harmer and his Tony Harmer's Tony Harmer Show with Tony Harmer. And me. Hi, Tony. How are you?
Hello, mate. How are you doing?
Oh, fantastic. I mean, I had just, if you can't tell, I had so much fun just writing that stream title. Just when
I know you did.
Tony Harmer. There has to be more Tony Harmer.
I think at one point it said with Tony Harmer.
Yeah.
It was very good. I enjoyed it. I've been watching it evolve over Slack over the last couple of weeks while we've been busy. I've just had a quick peek and seen it happening. You sound a bit dry, mate. Do you want a cup of tea?
Yeah, actually, that would be fantastic. Could you?
Got one here. I hate product placement in videos, by the way, but yeah.
Yeah, the worst. Oh, thank you so much. That's
no worries.
That's better. Fantastic.
There you go. Just the way you like it. White with 19 sugars. Yep.
All right, let's take a look at the chat who's joining us today. Steve, of course. Hey, Tim and Tony, he says.
Hey, Steve.
Jackie, Robert, Kirsty, always there. Thank you so much for joining us. Jane and Richard and Andreas from Germany. Hello.
Hello.
And Oliver and Gareth and so many people are joining us. They're all saying hi, Tony, and they're admiring your beautiful mustache.
Thank you.
Do you comb that? Do you?
I was just combing everything just before we did because I like a nice line to my facial hair.
Stunning. Right. David is saying hi from the UK. Yes, if you are watching this anywhere else than on Behance, make sure to join us over on be.net/Adobe live. The link is right below us. Type that in and you can join the chat, join the main conversation where everybody is chatting, where the cool kids are. And ask questions. Let us know if you have anything we should cover today during the stream. If you would understand something, or if you didn't understand something. I mean, if you understand something, that's fantastic. Just let us know. I know what he's talking about. Fantastic. I mean, great.
We get it. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
My fault. I picked the name The Tony Harmer Show. Oh, yes. Brought to you by the Design Ninja, new commercial venture. Yes, this show is sponsored by... No.
The Design Ninja. Mind you, I do get a $5 every time I bring this mug up onto into the shop. So there we go. Get yours today.
Oh, man. All right. So, Tony, let us know, what are we doing today?
Today, we're going to make a fantasy map.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I know. I know. You would be surprised, actually, how much demand there is for fantasy maps, because quite often, for example, if you've ever watched Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah.
The very beginning, all of the titles of Game of Thrones are a map. I mean, there's a lot of other mechanisms and everything going on in there, but essentially it's a map. And George R.R. Martin created a map of that world so he could organise where people came from and make it. Even Winnie the Pooh, Eamon put a map, or was it E.H. Shepherd who did it? I can't remember now. But I can't remember who did the drawing. But there's a drawing of 100 Acre Wood in the front there. So very important. Very important. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to make a fantasy map. I'm going to use some plugins, some extensions, some Adobe Magic, because like always with the Adobe Magic.
Gareth asks, does it involve cosplay? Are you going to dress up as a Juggernaut Fledermaus?
I am going to dress up as a Juggernaut Fledermaus. That's a good idea.
I'm excited.
I'm just trying to. Oh no, I've given Chloe the day off. There's no one in costume. What do I do?
Hats, Tony, bring the hats.
Yeah, I've got an emergency hat right here.
And I have the emergency Flugelhorn, which... hang on. Oh, that's better. All right, I think we can get started.
Yeah, let's get going. Let's roll. So, yes. So, a fantasy map. That's what we're going to be doing today. I am going to be using an extension from ESRI global mapping company. They have a thing called Maps for Creative Layout, or M4CC if you want to be cool and down with the kids. It lives here once you've acquired it in the extensions menu. Now, just on that point, this is on Adobe Exchange, but don't go to Adobe Exchange to get it. Yeah, go to just search Maps for Creative Cloud, ESRI, ESRI. Okay, and get it from there. Get it from their own site, because the Adobe build doesn't, or the build that goes to Exchange doesn't get refreshed quick enough. So go to there and get it from there. It is free. You've got all of the basic functionality of it. What you haven't got is the publishing rights for things without a paid account. But there's plenty you can do, and fantasy maps you can create without a publishing account. So that's really handy. So when you launch it, ArcGIS Maps for Creative Cloud, they have the whole thing spelt out. You get a few different windows. Now I'm going to separate these out so you can see them separately. Okay, let me just go ahead and get this one. So this is the map board window. That's the first thing that you actually need just there. And behind that is the compilation window. So when you build a map, be it a real map or a fantasy map, what you do is you compile the map afterwards, you put things on. So you can use this to generate real maps. You can also use it to generate maps based on data. It's a very, very exciting thing. But today, like I said, fantasy maps. So what we need, Tim, is first of all, let's have a couple of countries that must have a coastline, because I want to do an island. Okay, so let's have a country with a coastline that isn't England, Wales and Scotland. Could be Ireland, but not.
The opposite of my crane. Ukraine.
Ukraine. Has Ukraine got a coastline?
Very short one, I believe.
Very short one. Hang on just a second. Why is my map boards window
Could be Germany. Or
very,
France.
very grey? Hold on a second. Let me just find out what's going on with my
Portugal or the USA. Okay.
With my map boards window was very, very weird just there. That's really strange.
I think you didn't expect me to say Ukraine.
No, I didn't expect to say Ukraine. There you go. So I think there's something really strange going on here, because I actually can't see anything on there. I'm logged in. So I should be able to search. Well, that's kind of awkward. That spoils my overall
demo. While you
demo.
find things out, I will just briefly talk about the schedule for a moment, because we do have an exciting schedule for you this week, and we had an exciting schedule this week because it's Friday already. But next week we do have another exciting schedule for you, because let me just pull that up for a moment. Ba-bow. There we go. On Monday, we will be joined by Sam, who will do portrait painting. It's going to be really interesting to see more illustration. Yes, I personally like the illustration streams. On Tuesday, what do you think? More illustration? Correct. Yes, more illustration. Frisky Fresco is returning for another round with our famous guest Rachel Presky and her guest Abigail. And on Wednesday, the people from FemType are joining us again. Always really great, those streams. They do fantastic work. And on a Thursday, we have an international spotlight. I think, hang on, I can check where she is joining us from. Oh, I'm not prepared. I know Chantal on Wednesday is joining us from, she's a Lebanese artist, but I think, hang on, I got this, I'm a professional. Netherlands, there we go. So now it's from the Netherlands. So yes, very international. And on Friday, of course, it's the Tony Harmer show with, you've guessed it, Tony Harmer.
Tony Harmer.
Perhaps I'm joining you again, who knows. It'll be the Tim and Tony show.
Okay, right. So
Tim Foolery. Right.
We're back on. Yes, I am. Somehow Illustrator had signed me out, which is very, very odd of this. So I'm going to search on the Ukraine. Okay, so there we go. Off we go to the Ukraine. Oh, yeah, it's an interesting coastline down there. So what I can do is I can zoom in on this, okay, and move around. Yeah, I like some of that. So I'm going to take some of this. So what I can then do, I can either import data from places to do this, or I can draw a map board, and that is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a small chunk of this one just here, okay, and I'm going to call this one Ukraine just there. And for the I've got various different presets for the size and whatever else, but I'll choose an artboard from Illustrator. So I'll go ahead and have 1280 800 just there and hit OK. And so that draws me an artboard. Now, once the artboard is ready, I can move across to the compilations window from there. So I can go ahead and preview that. It opens the compilation window and I can see my map. Now, if that's not exactly where I want it, I can go ahead and navigate around. So I can basically drag the center mark just here and just undo that and go back out from there. But you can drag the center mark around and change what you're actually getting. So I accidentally there modified the entire artboard, but I'm not too worried. There we are. So you can go to wherever you need and do that. Once it's done, move across to the compilation window. For some reason, I've gone to the size of a stamp. So I'll just do that again. I can see where the problem is now. There we are. Good. Right, so I've got that. Now, the first thing I need is a base map, something to base this on. Now, because I'm actually after just the outlines here, I'm going to use this vector natural earth map. Now, there's a whole bunch of different things I could use here. These are pixel-based maps just here. So if I go back to that, you can see I've got dark grey canvas. That's almost the same as the preview window. I can change the base map, though, for natural earth. And it takes it a moment to come down from the server because the server draws the map for you. And once that's ready, okay, I can go ahead and fit this in the screen just there. That's what I'll have. So when I'm ready, if I wanted to add other layers onto that, I could do, but because I only want the outlines, I'm going to sync. And so it will send the compiled map down to Illustrator. You can see it's doing that just now. So it's making a further request of the servers at ESRI. I know. And it is exciting.
This is a plugin. I just posted the link in the chat if you're just joining us. The Behance chat, that is. So if you're watching this anywhere else than on Behance, come on over to behance.net/live and you will find the link in the chat.
There we go. There we go. So what I'm going to do is just double click the tabs for each of these two things here, just to close them up to the top. Okay, let's get that out of the way. Just there. Excellent. Now they're out of the way, we can see what Illustrator has brought down for us. It's brought us down this entire map. Now, because it's the natural earth map, I've got all of the layers that are possible in there. Okay, so there's all different things like airports, different shipping lines, all of that stuff is on. I didn't bother filtering anything out. One, because some things you can't. Two, because it's interesting for you to see. So what I'd do with something like this is I would go ahead and get a selection tool. Typically, I'd use my group selection tool for this, and I would go ahead and grab some bits of coastline. So if I grab that bit there, and I'll go back to my blank document here and paste that down. You can see it's quite big. So I'll just resize that.
It's a big country.
It's a big country. Okay, and I'm also just going to change the color of that as well. So I've got a nice black outline there, and then I'll go back into that map, see if there's any other shapes I want to grab there. So I kind of like that one, and because I'm going to, because it's just easy. I'll resize that down.
Such a small thing and such an obvious thing, but I just appreciated how you can just copy and paste between documents, no problem. Yes. I know this might be super obvious and super clear for somebody who is working with Illustrator every day, but for me, who's not doing that, just copy paste. All right, that's easy.
And there you go. I'm going to go to somewhere else now. Where should we go? Give me another country with a coastline.
Germany.
Germany does indeed have a coastline, as you would know, Tim, because you live there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I zoomed in a bit too quick just there. So let's go ahead and not create that artboard. So what I want to do is just make sure I'm not in draw mode, and then just bring that down. Let's have a look. Ooh, there's some nice gnarly stuff over there. Is that still Germany? No, Denmark. I'm Denmark-ish there. So let's have a bit of Germany. Oh, look, I love islands like that. Nice. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and draw another map board here, like so. I'm going to capture
it's more like the Netherlands, but okay, that's fine.
Oh yeah, it is actually.
That's okay.
Oh, it is. No. We said we'd have Germany, so Germany we shall have.
You can try Rügen. That's on the west side. East side, sorry. East side.
Yeah.
Germany.
So isn't the west side of Germany landlocked?
Like
There's Magdeburg. Yeah.
Yes. And there's Halle. That's where I live. Way.
Yeah. Whereabouts? Oh, down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right there.
Near Leipzig.
Yes.
Perfect. So let's go ahead and grab some of this. We'll call this bit Germany, so we know where they came from. And once again, I'm going to choose a nice big artboard like so. Okay, you can also set scales and everything like that. I'm happy with that. So I'll go through to the compilation and fit that content and change my base map. I'm going to use the same base map each and every time. Here, just for a minute. I'm happy with that. So I'm going to sync. Like so. So once again, you can see it makes a request from the servers. The server go, okay, you want this bit, and it gets the coordinates from the map board and then just goes ahead and brings that down. And you can then see it actually draw in the background. You can see that that starts to appear just behind here. There you go. So hopefully you saw some ocean and whatever else there. Right. Once again, I will double click these at the top just to collapse these down. And now come and grab some interesting coastline shapes. I'll get my group selection tool here. I did use that base map, didn't I? Let's have a quick look. It does not look like I did. I need to go back to my compilation and choose a different base map because I didn't choose the natural earth one. There we go. I thought that was very quick.
And the people in the chat are saying, hi Tony, how about Scotland? Because it has some coastline. Yes.
Scotland's got amazing coastline. Absolutely amazing.
They're trying to go international, but it doesn't extend to New Zealand, apparently. Wait. No. Next week is the international spotlight.
Did you actually say doesn't he?
Doesn't
extend.
extend.
You did, didn't you? Oh, I thought you said doesn't he? You sounded vaguely Scottish for a moment then.
Doesn't he?
It doesn't extend. There you go.
I mean, you sounded a bit German when you said, I will think about that.
I've got German ambitions. There we go. Right, so I've got some more coastline, and I'm going to go back to this one here. And this is basically how I work with this. I choose interesting bits of coastline. Yeah, because why try and figure out erosion for yourself when you can use what the planet's already given us, right? You can go ahead and
Pro tips.
just get the stuff. So, well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It makes it believable because we kind of understand, even if we don't process it, we do kind of get how things end up the way they do. So, but I'm going to move those out of there. In fact, I'm going to select all of those things and just give them a quick default fill and stroke so you can see them. Are you all right, Tim?
Gareth in the chat is saying, sounds like my ex. And Steve is asking, does she have a beard and a deep voice? Oh dear.
Who sounds like your ex? Who sounds like your ex?
No, I sound like Gareth. Gareth X, apparently. Scottish accent, I suppose. I don't know.
Well, I'm going to point out that we're making the assumption that it's a she, just you know, which is not necessarily the case, and also none of our business. But you know, it's just worth pointing these things out where people jump to this conclusion that you know. Anyway, moving on. Next, I'm going to choose a country now, and it's one that we will go to Scotland. Actually, let's go to Scotland and get some Scottish coastline. I was going to go to Svalbard because I like it. Look at that lot down there. Ooh, gnarly. In fact, we can get plenty of bang for our buck just there. I am going to choose again a big artboard, like so. Nice. Move through to the compilation, which have just moved off screen just a little bit. And choose the vector base map. Just make sure I got that this time because I don't think I did last time. and I didn't this time because it didn't start the request. The way I know is because I can see all of the mountains and the landscape just there. That's better.
Right.
Yeah, which that isn't in the natural Earth map. The natural Earth map is super good for making maps, but no good for topography. So that's all good there. Let's get that. Are people enjoying this? I don't know if they are. I've got no...
Yes, Tony is not watching the chat, so if you have any questions, just direct them at me, and I will make sure to forward them to Tony. And no, people are still talking about they only include real countries. Yeah, that's okay. All right.
Yeah, you can type Narnia in there, but it's not going to get you a result. You know, you're not going to end up in the right place. Look at that! Wow, that's what I'm talking about.
And yes,
that's what I
Kirsty
want.
is saying yes, we are having fun. Fantastic.
Good.
Because otherwise you will have to leave. No.
Yes. Good. Right, now this is a good example here. I'm just going to what I'm doing there is I'm just tapping D to make it the default. Okay, and then just moving it over to one place. So in my workflow for doing things like this, what I typically do is I go ahead and I can actually close the ArcGIS stuff now because I've got enough coastline. I typically go around and I grab some interesting looking bits of coastline and what have you. Yeah, and then just park those off the artboard here, like so. Right, and then I start to build from there. I really like this bit here, so I'm keeping that bit on. Okay, and I like this bit as well from Ukraine, so we'll keep that. Once I've done that, I then start to look at what I want to carve away. Now, this is a beautifully eroded coastline there. That tells me there's a high likelihood there's a massive ocean on the side of that with all of that carving because the wind would come across. Yeah, you can also get an idea in some places. It's never a guarantee, right? Because Earth doesn't work like that. But there's a high chance that this is a coastline on the western side of a country as well because of that erosion. So it's open to elements and so on. But there you are.
Welcome
right, I then get
101 with Tony Hunt.
I then get somebody I know, Sarah Bell from ESRI. If she watches this, she's probably going to tweet me all week going, yeah, we disagree with that. You know, that's because I can. Anyway, I get that. And so I don't lose it. I go ahead and get my scissors tool. And for some reason, that's just locked up a bit there. So I get my scissors tool. Okay. And I make a couple of snips in a few places. So I just chop some bits away at interesting points.
Yes, they're saying, Tony, you know so much. I mean, what people don't know is Tony actually was the one who eroded those coasts by hand.
Yeah, by hand.
Filing the coast away.
With a cheese grater.
Yeah. Used to be
it was my hobby for the first 1,000 years I was on the planet.
But it was before the background dancer career, right?
Yeah, all of that. Yeah.
Fantastic.
So there we go. I've got a few different things. By the way, I didn't have a predisposed plan for this, so I just thought we'd have fun with it. So I'm thinking, okay, that these two bits here, they will go quite nicely together. I'm also going to spin that one around just a little bit. I want some of that bay style action just there. I'm going to cross those over like that. I'm going to grab another piece of coastline here. I'm going to flip that like so and bring that around here like that, and I've got a nice little bit here I'm going to bring in.
Can I increase my audio a bit? Yes, of course. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, oh, sorry. Were we quiet? Was that me being quiet or you being
probably
quiet?
Me. Hopefully that's better.
Okay. Don't want to be going and upsetting people. So right, let's get this bit here again. I'm going to flip that 2 directions just there. Roll that around a bit.
I just have a very soft voice.
You do have a soft voice. By the way, as usual, I'm going to weave in a load of tips here as well. And yes. Gareth is someone who loves their plugins, so you're going to really enjoy some of this stuff. Oh, can I mention something that was on the Discord last week?
Yeah.
Okay, so there was some chat about the Astute Graphics plugins, some of which I'll be using shortly. there was some chat about that, and in that chat, someone found a thing on Adobe Exchange for their plugins. Just as a note, don't install that, because that's got nothing to do with Astute Graphics. It's been reported, but yeah, it's nothing to do with them at all. You'll still, and the place you'll get to, it won't activate anything. Subscribe is free, but that's not the way to get it. Just so you know. I'm sure there's no harm done, but anyway. So this is a very odd island here for all of my talk about the formation of landmass and whatever else. I'm just doing what I want because this is a bit sort of Star Wars. It can go wherever it wants. There we are. But sometimes that's a fun thing, right, to get things like that. So you can see here that I have got a few things in that I think that's good enough for what I'm doing today just here. So I'm going to get rid of the majority of the other bits here to clean up my view just a little bit. I might just take just a bit more of this. I'm just trying to think where. Do you know what? I think that would be really interesting if that went across there. Plus, it will give us a lake. Right. Okay. So I've got all of these elements here. Now they're not joined together. Some of them cross over. Yeah. And some of them are not quite joined together. So how am I going to resolve that, Tim? What tool?
Flip the entire canvas, throw everything away, and cry in the corner.
That is a good answer. But
oh no, wait, that's scheduled for next Tuesday. Sorry. What are we doing today?
I'm going to tap N for my pencil tool. I am going to select the join tool like so, and then going to sweep across these things, and you'll notice how they join. I'm also going to sweep across that, and it's joined those two things together. However, I didn't like that join, so I'm going to just undo that. I'll manually fix that one afterwards. There we go. Did I want that other bit at the bottom? No, I didn't. That's good. So it's getting rid of the overlap. Just there. Now here I'm going to use a different thing to do that. So I'll join those two together if they will, but they won't. They don't want to play. There's a gap. So let's join those, and these I'll do with the shape builder, I think. For things that won't join, or I'm not desperately keen on the actual join, this is where I go ahead and I select it. So I select the thing here, and then I go and use my pencil tool to join or to draw the bits I want. So I'll connect up like so, and if I don't get that the way I want, then I can overdraw it like that. Let's come back over this way, and I'm just going to go down here. I want a nice little cut in just there. There's a few more overlaps, so what I'm going to do is just move this bit out of the way for a minute so I can see all of those. Go back to the join tool, and then just start to clean that stuff up.
And that's not a new tool, right? The join tool isn't that new, isn't it?
2015.
Okay. I think. Yeah, because some people ask in the chat, like, if it's a new tool, and they haven't seen it. And there's another question from Gareth.
Yeah.
Tony, do you know what Illustrator means by clipping will be lost on a round trip to Tiny?
Yeah, that's SVG. That's a thing with SVG. That's what that is. It's where there's a clipping region in something that was drawn, saved to SVG, and exported. Yeah, it's to do with SVG. So there you go. So yeah, I do.
Thank you, Tony. No worries. Just, right. Yes, I do. Moving on.
Well, it's to be honest, I can't give you the full explanation off the top of my head. I really can't.
No, that's okay. That's all right.
But which is a failing. I'm sorry. I will do better homework next time.
We will revoke your Tony Hammer license. Sorry.
I know. Do I get points for just switching to the eraser here? By the way, I'm just going to erase some stuff here. Do I get points for knowing where it came from, though?
Yes. Let me just look that up. That will be about 20.5 points.
20.5 points. Nice. I like it. Okay, so I've got a bit of a landmass there. I think that's kind of nice. I like it. I've put no islands there. Now those sort of tendrils going out into the ocean, that's very, very not feasible. So what I'm going to do is sever that in 2 or 3 places, because then it makes kind of a fairly convincing island group there. If you were doing this as a real production thing, by the way, you'd actually spend some time over considering all of these things and not worrying about straight geometry like that. You'd kind of get in there with the pencil tool, and then you'd connect with these things
left, so
yeah, true. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, so but you do all of that good stuff just there. Right, so let's zoom out so I can see the whole thing, and now would be a good time to save it, so I'll just do that. What we need a name for the country. Let's use the first 2 letters of my name, or your name. The first 2 letters of my name. Who was first in the chat?
Kirsty.
There we go. Titoki Island.
Fantastic.
That's what this is. So there you are. That's what Kirsty gets for being first in the chat. She gets to be part of our island naming thing, and we'll give the 3 like minor islands just off here, the 3 offshore things. We'll give those names as well. So, you know, we'll call one of those Gareth Island, Sandrine Ridge, just there maybe. I don't know, Sandrine, whatever. And who else? Steve. Let's call this Cossaboom Cove. There we go.
Cape Cossaboom.
There we go. Right,
I just Googled that, by the way, Titoki. Luckily, it doesn't mean anything rude, but it is a town in Northland region of New Zealand and a native tree in New Zealand. Titoki.
That is actually something I normally do as well if I'm doing this. Is actually
just making sure.
Yeah. But I mean, for here, you know, yeah, and we are actually lucky. It doesn't mean anything rude, because that would have been very, very, very funny. But at least you can tell we're shooting from the hip, right? We're we're doing that. So there's my island. I want to add a layer beneath that. Here's the quick way to do it. Shift D switches you into draw behind mode. Command L gives you a new layer. Boom. I know. Shift D back to drawing front mode, because otherwise, like 5 o'clock this morning when I was drawing a backpack, and forgot, and I was thinking, where's everything going? But map back on there. Okay.
Steve, I immediately built a pub on my island.
Yeah.
And Jackie's saying, "You're famous, guys. Land named after you." Yes.
There you are. It's because you had a flag. That's how people claimed lands back in the day.
I think
they turned up and said, "I've got a flag." Eddie Izzard talks about that. It's very, very funny. Right. Anyway, so we've got a background for the map. So I think that's kind of nice, just to take away the overall blankness of a blank artboard. And let's give that sort of I don't know. That's a horrible color. So I'm going to hold down Shift, go to there, and I'm going to change my color. So make it significantly lighter. There, like so. I'm going to switch mode to HSB. So that way I can desaturate slightly and improve the brightness. There we are. Nice. And maybe I'll change something about that later on, but I just want some sort of background to that. So back to the island. Just here, let's make some colors on this. Now, I could try for a contour gradient on here. I say I could try because contour gradient's not going to work very well on this at all, because of all of those lines, because contour gradients use the boundaries of the geometry in which they're encased. I also need to make sure I get the little group of islands there. So I'm just going to do Command 8 to turn that into a compound path. So now I've got that. But what I'll do just for the minute is I'll just give it some flat color, and we'll see how we go on. So nice bit of flat color around there. Then let's give it a little bit of a nice effect on the side. So I'll go ahead and stylize that with an inner glow. Nice and soft, just to give the idea that there's some sort of edge to it. Let's just take that back down to about 1 millimeter maybe. Actually, it was better as it was, so I'll just go 1.5, just there. Blending in the screen mode with white. Of course, I could change that to any other light color with screen, as long as it's below sort of a grey level of 128, then it will do that. So that's starting to look okay. But what we need now is we need some texture on it. I like the textures. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a plugin for my texture. And the plugin I'm going to use is from Astute Graphics, and it's called Texturino. Look at this. Nice, right? So I can just go ahead here. Right. Now, I typically, when I do this, I add a new fill to do it, but it's not necessary to do that. I'm just going to add that texture. So the texture's now on top. Let me just zoom in. You won't be able to see anything more from the controls, but I can zoom here. Can you see that?
Yes.
So I can change the blending mode for the texture. So I could make this the overlay just there, for example. Lots of other things. I could use knockout, and that would remove the actual fill underneath. Gives you an interesting thing. And that's why I typically add another fill on top of the shape, so I can use that. But multiply works pretty well, but it's too harsh. So I'll drop the opacity of that down like so. There you go. That's starting to form a nice texture just there. Rotating this texture, which I could do, doesn't really, it's not really going to have any,
like the noise texture doesn't really make a difference.
Yeah, exactly. It will make no difference at all. But if it was something more interesting, like you know, like a wood chip or something like that, then that would be really cool that it would do that.
And
but
if
it
you
still
don't
gets
have,
you some of the way there.
If you don't have the plugin, is it a free one? The texture plugin?
No, that's not free. That's part of their annual subscription plan.
Well, I guess if you don't have the plugin,
plan.
you can just use a normal noise texture from Photoshop or anything.
You could do, well, actually, let's do that the way without that plugin. One of the reasons I was going to use that is because there is actually a texture brush from Astute Graphics as well, right? So, which is best not used at that particular size. That gives you an indication of the size of the map I was working on last, just there. So let's bring that up just a little bit, like so. This is where you can erode the texture underneath. So if I hold down the Option key here, I can kind of paint out that texture in some regions, or paint it back in. Yeah, make it stronger in different places. Actually, I've got that flip round the other way. There we go. So look at that. I can model all of that texture in a very Photoshop-like way almost. But it's very cool.
That texture, is that now a pixel-based texture, or are those vectors? Because a noise texture are vectors.
They are. It is a pixel-based texture.
Right. Okay.
But lots of things are. Let me wind that back to where we've got no texture on it at all, because I'll show you another way you could do it without having that plugin. In fact, if you want, I'll show you 2 ways we could do it.
2 for the price of 1 in 20 minutes.
2 for the price of 1.
Crazy.
I am going to add another fill just here. So I'm just going to hold down the Command key and hit /, which adds me a new fill like so. And keeping that fill targeted in the appearance panel, I'm going to go to the effects menu and down to the Photoshop effects. And in here, I could choose maybe grain from there. I could also choose from artistic. Some of these, like film grain, work really well. So let's zoom in there. So we've got film grain. I can model the grain here inside of this panel. I can change the amount of highlight area and the overall intensity of the grain. So I can model all of those things. Right. So, and of course, if I've decided that that wasn't the one I wanted, if I thought, do you know what, maybe I'd go for sponge or something like that, then I can change it and have a look at that. You see, I think sponge is interesting.
Well,
nice.
One, yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice texture. Could do that. Now, this is where some people get, I'm just applying that, so I'm just hitting OK. This is where some people say, yeah, I'm keeping it vector by doing that inside of Illustrator. You're not. That's what's called a runtime image. So there is an image there. It's just created at the time that you use it. Yeah. So you've got sort of a proxy image. So it still is an image. If you were to expand that appearance, yeah, in fact, I'm going to do that for you. I'm going to create a new document. I'm going to paste that down. Give it just a moment. And that's why it's taken a minute to paste down, because it's got a big image in it. Right. I'm then going to go Object. expand appearance, like so. It comes in as a group, so I'll ungroup it, mixed objects, see that? Yeah. So I've got various different things there. If I go to the layers panel and twirl that open, you'll see that this top one here is an image. And also, right, so if I just turn the visibility off for that one, turn the visibility off for that and that compound path, and go into this group, this one here is an image also. If I click it, you can see the boundary just there. So it's still an image, it's just drawn at runtime. So, but there you go. So that's one way of doing that. There is another way of doing that as well. What you could do is you could get a texture, and turn it into a 1-bit bitmap, and then apply it. Is Jackie in today? Jackie in the chat?
Oh yes, I believe.
I think Jackie was asking about this the other day.
Yes.
How to do this? Is that right?
Could be, yes. By the way, people are asking about that small black line at the bottom of the map. That's Fort Titoki.
It is. It's suddenly, you know, there's hang on a minute.
It's gone. What happened? No, now the.
And that was a good thing. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. That area was volcanic, and it was extinct, and it's just sunk. Then what you could do is, if I do you remember just before we started the stream, when I was in Photoshop for something and I said something's telling me to keep Photoshop open? Yeah, right. Well, that's what it was telling me to keep open for. So let me see if I can find a texture, one of my textures, just here. Hold on a second. If I can't find it, there we go. So let me just go ahead and grab one of these things. So this could just be any texture here. So when that opens, oh great, it's super tiny. Again, this time we're feeling.
Going deep on microscope.
Well, these are for mapping. They're for not for mapping, but for something else. So hold on, they're thumbnails for other textures. But anyway, you get basically a texture. I'm going to do it with just a small thing anyway, I think, because that way. Oh, there we go. That's much more like it. Right. So here's a texture like so. What you might do is you might take all of the color out of that. So you could go ahead and do adjustments, black and white, just there. And then you could tune that. Okay, so there's a lot of blue, I think, in that. So I could move that more to white, just there, and the green, just get some contrast. You could do anything to it. I could use the camera raw filter here to make it more contrasty. Drop the or lift the exposure, make it contrasty. Whatever's going to give you the texture or make it more apparent. Then you would go image mode grayscale. You have to do that step in the first place. Just card the color. Then you would go image mode bitmap. Okay. Then you could specify the size and however you're going to deal with that. I'm just going to say the input here is 72, the output 300. Right. So now if I zoom in, you can see how that works. Yeah, I've got a bitmap texture there. Now, why would I want this simple on-off bitmap? Because that's essentially what that means.
Right.
A pixel is either on or it's off. What I'm going to do is do a save as on that, drop it on my desktop, and we'll call this, let's call this texture Jacqueline for Jackie and Caroline, because I think also Caroline was asking about this thing. So Jacqueline, and ideally, actually, I've just gone and done that. What I missed one step there. Ideally, make it a TIFF.
The TIFFs are uncompressed image formats, right?
Yes.
Well,
they can. You can have compression, so you can have LEMP-LZIV Welsh, LZW compression. There's a couple of other algorithms that support.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And you can actually see the whole algorithm on Wikipedia. It's amazing. Makes you look really clever when you're looking at that. I'm going to get rid of that additional fill that I put the sponge on. I am going to copy this shape because I'm going to need it. Then I'm going to bring in, okay, my TIFF like so. And the reason, let me just make that big enough to go over the island there. The reason I'm using a TIFF is because you can colorize it. So I can now choose a color just to show you. Let's make that red. Let's make it dark brown. Look at the texture in that now. It's gorgeous. It really is gorgeous. Yeah. So there's a couple of different ways I could deal with this. I could either paste in front the shape that I've got there and select both things, then do Command 7 yeah, that's all right. I'm not worried about that for print preview. Command 7 to drop it in there like that. Yeah. Or if I back that up to that, what I could do is cut the image, go to this, and then with my draw mode, so draw behind, which I used earlier, there's draw inside, and you'll know when draw inside is active because you've got these small dotted lines around the side. I could then paste, and it should paste inside that group, but it hasn't decided to do that. Let me just do that again. Oh, it's because I'm using Command F. I should use Command V. There we go for that. And then when you're happy, double click outside of it. But they're all things that you can modify. And look at it, it's a beautiful texture. And that will be because it came from nature.
Concrete?
Concrete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a concrete map. Just because we can.
They are, well, I've got a whole album on my phone of textures because I just photograph interesting textures when I'm out and about. I think, well, that would be useful inside of an illustration. Then I go ahead and capture it. So I just got an album like that. I capture all sorts of different textures. I don't aim to make them seamless. I just aim to make them usable like that.
Because this is not a repeating texture. We're just using one big image and stretching that, so it doesn't have to be seamless.
No, no, it doesn't have to be seamless.
Of course, I wonder if that's a concrete map. How are you supposed to carry that around? It's like just, it's not too big. We ought to do some other stuff, really. Let me just save this island. So we need a couple of things. Now, I've got some sketchy stuff here, which I scanned beforehand to use. Very, very sketchy. This looks a bit too real now to do that, to do some of that stuff. Let me just go into the contents here. I can't really get to that texture very easily. But I could have softened those edges. That's where using multiple fills works really, really well, because you could go ahead, add a new fill to that, and that's where you can go ahead and add your inner glow to it potentially. So it's nice to layer things up in that way. It did soften somewhat, but not as much as I wanted. That's what I do every morning, add my inner glow.
Yeah, I wake up with an inner glow, I think. No. Let me just place that scan just here and do that. Now, I was going to sit here with the blob brush while we chatted and overdraw some of this stuff, but there isn't the time. So I'm going to go to image trace, and I am going to come down and choose black and white logo just here. That starts the trace. Then I'm going to go to the tracing options and tell it to ignore white. Yeah, so I just get the black shapes there like so, and then I'm going to hit expand and then ungroup. Drawn with my handy rote rings 0.7, 0.5, 0.3 and a stapler 0.2. There we go. Have them right down to silly numbers in
capture with Adobe Capture.
And capture that would have been a good way to do it, actually, or just go into Photoshop and use assets from image.
Oh yeah,
that should be a good way to do it. Really good. You know how to do that, right? Do you know how to do that? Yeah.
I mean, I know how to do image trace in Illustrator, but I'm not sure if I can do that in Photoshop.
Let me illuminate you.
Let
me illuminate you. Let me go to the libraries, because it's Tony Harm show, so it's all text all the time.
Course. Oh my god, yes, they added that in the new one.
Yep. So down at the bottom here, click on that. Oh, look, you get a nice little thing. Yeah. So click on that and go create some image. Do. Patterns, shapes. Oh, yes, I like those shapes. Save to CC libraries. Do that for me. Dun, 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 dun.
And the artist who did that preview image, we had him on Adobe Live. Andreas Preis.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
Really great guy.
Awesome. Do you remember last week? Oh, actually, no, I can't. Oh, it's all right. Just ignore me. I was going to say something.
Okay, Tony.
But no, I can't tell you. I'm not allowed.
Does Illustrator have a bump map feature, as in After Effects? Robert asks.
No.
No.
And bump maps are going the way of the dodo because most people, when they're doing textures, are using PBR. So physical-based rendering, a different way of putting things together. So the bump isn't expressed in the same way. And the idea is that you've got user configurable parameters, and everything is parameterized. So the bump texture is very, very different. Hopefully that means something to who asked Bob, did you say?
Robert.
Badger Bob. Yeah. There we go. So hopefully that will mean something to him and any other 3D or 3D wannabes.
And they're asking for a deep dive of Illustrator next week because Tony will be back next week on Friday.
How deep do you want to go?
Well, Gareth said, can we have a deep dive with Illustrator next week? There's so much in there I haven't seen yet.
Yeah. In short, yeah.
Be careful what you ask for. This is Tony.
Careful what
he
you
knows
ask
everything.
I do not know everything.
He invented Illustrator.
Only part of it. I'm just rubbing away these land bits here. I should have kept those actually, and to have a second one. But what I'm going to do is, because I like using the accelerate-y things, select all of that and make it into
a technical term, right? Accelerated things.
Accelerated things.
Okay.
Absolutely. Just going to go back to my eraser.
We're talking proper diving suits. All right. So that kind of deep.
We are talking proper diving suits. Hey, Tim, guess what happens in just 2 weeks?
Oh, no. What is happening in 2 weeks, Tony?
I get my new truck. Yeah.
And guess what's also happening in 2 weeks?
Don't know.
The game show. The host showdown.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to talk about that yet?
No.
All right.
No, we're going to do a game show. That's all I can say.
Yes. So Gareth, this is like treat time for Gareth and Jackie and Caroline and whatever, because they're getting all of their questions from Discord answered. You notice I had the artwork there. I'm using the nimbling, pardon me, nimbling. Oh, just need a quick drink.
Hang on. To design cup. Design ninja.
And you can see how quick it is to go ahead and make sort of, oh, that one wasn't joined together either, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Just for the purposes of demonstration. Nice and easy to go ahead and jump those things together like that. And if I'd done some more, then I could go ahead and build the whole shooting match there, which is nice. Bit of ISO works really, really well in maps. I think I'm just going to back that up now, so I've got the actual fort bits that I wanted before. Good. Right. We definitely need this map roll on there. So let's go ahead and do the scroll. So let's close that map board as well and drop that down like so. Oh no, it's got no colors in it. How do I fix that problem? Live paint
Go
group.
away, Jimmy.
So sorry, Option Command X. Live paint group. How many minutes have I got? 6. Okay.
Yeah, 6.
Live paint group. Yeah. 65.
Yeah, 65
well,
minutes.
Let's relax and just have fun. Oh, I love live paint groups. Do you know Monica Garza?
Yes, we had her. She did a masterclass before the lockdown happened.
Monica loves live paint, as do I. But we were both freehand people.
In the German stream, by the way. For you
yes,
the chat.
Monica's amazing. She really is good.
Here be the dragons. Yes.
Yes.
Once there were dragons.
Done in just secondons. There we are. So got a nice live paint group. I'm going to leave it as a live paint group. Don't want to expand it. What I will do though is I will get my curvature pen tool. So shift tilde or backtick for that, and I'm going to draw a path here. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, just there. Nice path. What am I doing in that path for, Tim? Do you know?
Text.
Yes! Do you know why I love the curvature pen tool so much? Because you can do everything with the same tool.
Because you just did a video on your YouTube channel all about different tools, like the curvature pen tool, the normal pen tool, and
actually.
What's the other one?
Did you watch it?
Not yet.
The freehand pen tool.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Design Ninja on YouTube, right?
Did you really? Oh, I'm flattered now.
No, I haven't
let me
watched
show
that
you.
one yet. Still have to.
Yeah, it just explains what to get out of which. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to quickly use the Smart Remove brush tool. I'm just going to brush across that path and just get rid of any bits I don't want. This is from this is a plugin, by the way, not from the native tool set. I can also use this amazing extend path thing, but let's go ahead and get some type on a path going. Titoki, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. Let's go for something from letterhead fonts. I think I've got some good map stuff in there. I do lots and lots of maps. By the way,
people are saying Comic Sans, please.
Comic Sans. Have you ever seen that? There's a video from Adult Swim with Comic Sans in it. It's very funny.
I've seen the music video about Comic Sans. Comic Sans is the best font in the world if you want your designs to look like they're done by little girls. Comic Sans best use in moderation. Come on, join me, the Comic Sans nation. It's fantastic.
Awesome. I know something you should watch as well, Tim. Have you seen the video? What's the meaning of Stonehenge? No. There's your homework for this afternoon. What's the meaning of Stonehenge? It's really good. I'm not going to get time to do my octopus. Oh, well, not to worry. I'll put it in the ocean anyway. So.
No, I didn't write that. Look that up on YouTube. Bing it.
What's that?
Comic Sans, the music video. People are asking in the chat if I wrote that song. No. Just Bing that.
Shouldn't be using all the black lines, by the way. Black lines don't exist in antique maps at all. Just a subtle bit of opacity off there, just about sort of 92%. And typically multiply as a blend mode. We should do a blend mode today as well.
That would be fantastic. Really, yeah, I would be really interested to see how you can use some of the more exotic blend modes like difference or exclusion.
Yes, I could show you an amazing way to use subtract and divide. Now that's in the arena of blending modes. That's where you're in the weedy stuff. But there we are. Unfortunately, we are out of time. But hopefully, people got a load of tips. Yep. Oh, do we? Oh, right, I'll carry on.
We can add on 10 minutes at the end if we need to.
Yeah, I know, but then we get in trouble. we get
we can slowly go to a stop and then we can just say bye to the chat. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's good. I like it. So, do you know, you'd be surprised how much of our language is driven by landscapes and whatever else. You've heard the expression wrong side of the tracks, right? You ever heard of that? Do you know where that comes from? And do you know why no,
I don't know.
It comes from lots, but it comes from here actually originally, but and everywhere else where railroads were introduced, when in a lot of cities, the eastern side of many cities is rough, or cheaper to live in. And the reason for that, and the reason people said the wrong side of the tracks, is because in our planet, our prevailing wind is predominantly westward. And when railroads started to arrive and communities started to be connected by railroads, of course there were steam engines belching out loads of smoke, and also industry in other places was put in the east because of the jaw and smoke, and of course the smoke ended up in the east of cities, and that's why they say the rough side. But there you go. Another little factoid from Tony. I'm going to do a podcast all of factoids because I'm not doing podcasts anymore. I ought to start doing them again. Tony's useless factoid of the day. Tony's useless factoid of the day. Ding.
Oh, sorry. Hang on. Yeah. Yes, I tell them. Yeah. They said no more songs, please.
So, chat community, what I want to know is, do you like the different versions of Tim and Tony, like Timistified and Tim Foolery, which we haven't done yet? I love doing them. I think it's so groovy.
Fantastic.
But there you are. Anyway, you've got an idea now on how you would start constructing a fantasy map, rather than just looking at a piece of paper and thinking, well, what would that coastline look like? Which is a way of doing it. It's just not as quick. Take some actual coastline and some actual borders and some actual landscape and start to stitch it together. To be perfectly honest, this doesn't look like a coastline on the right hand side here at all. I think this would be largely landlocked there, so I think there should be another country just coming off at the top here, but that's just me. If you wanted everything, by the way, to be textured inside of a layer, let me just give you that as one final tip. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and go to my layers panel just here, and I am going to apply a texture to an entire layer and make it persistent. See this thing over here? My friend Von calls this the meatball, but it's just a target. It's a layer target. This region to the side is the proxy region, how you select things. Once you've got that layer target active, I'm going to go to my appearance panel. It tells me I have a layer active, and I've got contents just there. I'm then going to add that sponge effect, but to the layer, okay, like that. And that means anything that goes on that layer. So if I now decide to make that halfway big, like so, and then I go ahead and draw another shape on that layer. As soon as the shape is drawn, if it's on the layer, it should, it's not on the right layer, that's why, it should take on that texture. So if I drop it down there and let go, there you go. Ta-da! That's how the pros do it.
Mic drop. Oh man, that was really great to see how that, from a shape where I wasn't even sure how that would end, like Ukraine and Germany, and what did we have, Scotland?
Scotland, yeah, it has Scotland in there. I normally pick the southwestern coast of Ireland as well, because like Scotland, that's a bit ridgy. I like that. I like features like that.
You never cease to amaze me, Tony. All right.
Thanks, man.
And with that, I would like to say thank you very much for watching the stream today. Thank you, Tony, of course, and make sure to be back next week, because let's just go over to the schedule one more time. There we go. Because we have a wonderful week next week planned for you today. 5 days of streaming, and of course on Friday another Tony Harmer's Tony Harmer show with Tim and Tony Harmer. And yes, make sure to be back, and we'd love to see your submissions if you have any fantasy maps, or even if you'd like to design, I don't know, a flag for Totoki Island, for the nation of Totoki Island. Share that in the Discord. The link for that is below the stream, as always. And yes, I think that's just about it for today.
Yes.
An entire hour and 5 minutes.
I would love to see some vexillological efforts on the
Vexillological.
Vexillological, yeah.
The extra ly makes it difficult to pronounce.
It does.
Oh, Julia's in the chat. Hi, Julia. You missed most of the
Julia!
stream, but that's okay. We still love you.
Yes.
So yes, thank you so much for watching, Angus, Anthony, Andrew, Caroline, Jackie, Oliver, Steve, Sandrine, and everybody's watching in the chat who I didn't mention today. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. See you all on Monday, and hopefully in 2 weeks for the game show. We need you for that, by the way. We really do. We need an active chat for that.
So excited.
So yes. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the weather. Or stay inside, like I would do, like a juggernaut flittermouse. And 50 quid, thank you. And yes, enjoy the week. Have a wonderful
week.
Well, that didn't work.
See you later. Bye, everybody. Take care. Stay safe, happy, creative, all of the above.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.